Thank you, and welcome to another edition of Interview with DJ Nocturna. Thank you for joining me. If you're watching on my YouTube channel, social media, please like, subscribe, follow, and share. I'm so happy to welcome on the show LA-based alternative pop artist, all the way from Los Angeles, Faith Marie. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and I know I'm in Hawaii, so it's not the time difference is not too bad. But
Yeah, not terrible.
yeah, thank you. I'm really excited to chat with you because I've been listening to your singles that you released recently in November, and I think the other one came on October, and they're wonderful. You've got I'm looking at your career, how you started out at a very young age. I think you were 13. I was watching one of your videos playing the piano, and I'm like, wow. I mean, how did you tell us how you start out in the music industry? Playing the piano and all that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for saying all those kind words. And basically, I've been doing music for as long as I can remember. It's always been something very natural, very um, something that's always drawn me in. And I I had a vocal coach when I was about 9 years old, and she started putting on recitals. And so I started getting some stage experience from that. Started doing some performances, just singing covers. And then my dad kind of pulled me aside and he was like, look, if this is something you really want to do, and keep in mind, I was like maybe 10, 9 or 10. So he was already giving me career advice. If this is something that you want to do, then you need to be a songwriter as well. Like you can't just sing other people's songs. Um,
That's a good advice.
yeah, very good advice. But me growing up on American Idol, I was like, I don't feel like I need to. I don't need to write songs, but I eventually listened to his advice and learned how to play like some basic chords on the piano. And I started putting some like journal entries because I would journal, and I started making them into songs and things like that. And it came very naturally to me. It wasn't good, but it flowed very well, very easily, and it was very fun. And I was like, okay, this is something that I really enjoy. And so I started performing my own songs. And then my dad took me to some open mic nights
Oh,
at some music venues. So then I was getting into the adult scene, because before it was more like just kid recitals. And then thankfully, like some of the music venue owners kind of took me under their wing. They were like, you have a lot of talent, like let me put you on some shows. And then I started getting noticed a lot more and started posting those videos on YouTube, and it kind of just snowballed from there, and
mhm.
it's still snowballing, thankfully.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really wonderful when you have a family, when your family supports you. I think, especially,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I consider myself extremely lucky.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that if you had support from your family, because I know people, family is a family, right? If you have support,
Mm-hmm.
that's a big deal, especially learning the piano. Was that your instrument? Was that the instrument you
Yes.
learned? That's the first one, and
Yeah.
and and then the voice came after. Is it?
Oh, the voice was first. I always sang. I mean, I have videos, home videos of me when I was like 5, like just belting
Yeah,
Little Mermaid songs and things like that. I always loved singing.
wow, that's wonderful. Because I know that you're songwriter. As a songwriter, you began really really young age. I was watching your video playing the piano, and this song it's just like blow me away. So, and then I also noticed that you had a very successful career on YouTube. Gaining like six follow subscribers, like 100,000 subscribers or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
and that came really just quickly, right? I mean, you didn't even have a lot of videos up there. It just went skyrocketed.
Yeah. There were definitely a few. There were a few things that contributed to that. My cover of "Drown" by Bring Me the Horizon, it gained some attention from the songwriter of that song, actually, Jordan Fisher. He I think he's also the guitarist of Bring Me the Horizon. He posted that and said it was his favorite cover, and that is still like one of the highlights of my life. And that really helped it kind of boosted that. And then I released my song Antidote, and that was very like, just, it naturally grew very quickly, and people really related to it, and were posting it, and that was like, it's still one of my biggest accomplishments, I would say, because it surpassed the cover that initially kind of brought me some recognition. So that was a really cool moment for me. That's something that I wrote and created, gained that much.
When did you write that one?
Antidote, I must have written it when I was 15 or 16.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. So what are some of the inspirations behind some of your songwriting? I mean, what influences you to write songs and create music?
Well, it comes from a very personal place. I mean, I've definitely been inspired by a lot of musicians, but I would say that it's mostly because I live in my own mind a lot of the time. I was also homeschooled growing up, and while I did have a lot of socialization, I still kind of learned to quote unquote play by myself, which I think is actually a very important lesson for kids, to learn how to be by themselves. And I just thought a lot about how I felt, how other people felt. I was a very emotional child, and I was very empathetic towards people and could put myself in other people's shoes very easily. And so just those experiences and living through other people, because I mean, I wrote about things I had never experienced in my life, but I had seen other people go through, I had watched on TV or read a book about. It really would stick with me, and so it would inspire me to write about how I would feel in those situations, how I think I would handle those things, and yeah, that's kind of where it comes from. I definitely would peg myself as a writer before anything else.
Yeah. So I know you have a new single that just came out. I'm not sure if it's your latest single, but I know Rock Bottom is one of them.
Yes, yeah, that was my latest
Do you want to tell us a little bit about that song, Rock Bottom? Because it looks like it's in the bottom, rock bottom.
Yeah. So it's kind of a new vibe for me, because it's a little bit more upbeat, but the message is still it holds very true, and it's very personal to me. Basically about learning as you get older that sometimes when you're in the lowest place of your life, it's where you need to be in order to move forward or move in the right direction. Because sometimes we're so blinded by what's going on in front of us, whether it's like a career or certain people, or just even our own insecurities or fears. We don't go where maybe we're supposed to go. So I am a firm believer in energy and the universe, and so I believe that sometimes we need a good I don't know, slap in the face, say, hey, this isn't right. It might hurt in the moment, but it'll lead you to bigger and better things. And so that's kind of what that's about. So it's about kind of just
like surrendering.
Yeah, surrendering, taking in that pain and sitting with it and learning from it. Because sometimes I think people are so afraid of their emotions, so afraid to feel them, that we miss out on important lessons.
So when did you write that single? What was that during the lockdown?
Yeah, that was a COVID project.
Oh, okay. So would you say that whole thing that happened with the COVID and the lockdown, did that create more a little darkness?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it felt like it took some years from me. Since I was creating from a very young age and gained some recognition from a very young age, I felt like this isn't true, but I attributed a lot of my success to my age. where it's like, oh, people only want to listen to me because I'm young, I'm a prodigy or whatever, you know, like that's what people would say. And so I took that to heart really deeply. And so during lockdown, it felt like, you know, some of my youth and some of my, like, I guess that sparkle away from me. And it really scared me. Because now I'm 24 now. So I'm not the, you know,
Wow.
16-year-old on stage. It's like people, if they like my music, they purely like it because it's good, which is honestly very empowering now. But in that moment during lockdown, where I couldn't really do much, it was super paralyzing and scary.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So do you think the flow of the creative process that gets more activated when you're in a darker place, or do you think it's just like because you know they
Unfortunately,
always say artists have you know when people are more in the darker space, they write, they create, they you just even I mean any kind, even painters and poets, you know.
yeah,
Do you feel the same
absolutely.
way for you?
Absolutely. I wish it wasn't that way. um, but yeah, I definitely become more creative when I need to get something off my chest. I have been learning, trying to teach myself how to create from more positive spaces because I'm getting a lot more comfortable in my skin. I've worked really hard through a lot of mental illnesses, and I'm in a very good place, I would say. And so sometimes it's hard to create from that place because I've been in, I guess you could say, a darker place for a very, very long time. So that's what I'm used to. But I think that obviously anything can be inspiring. And so it's just about learning to be
Mhm.
inspired by those things too. And I've started writing about those more positive experiences as well. And just, you know, growing up in general, becoming an adult.
Yeah. Do you ever, you know, there are artists like poets and writers who, you know, people that write like fiction, they get writer's block, right? Do you ever get writer's block? Music block? Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's a really, it's not a great feeling. That's for sure. Um, but I when I go through those times, I usually just try and consume a lot of art and talk to people, go out and experience things. And usually that'll help pull me out of it. And also just creating stuff that is bad. I
Yeah.
think that's a really important thing is to create things that you would never show anybody.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that next question. Do you have something that you wrote and you just like say, well, I'm gonna put this away for a while and come back to it later? And
Yeah, there's
then
a lot of songs like that. And you know what's crazy is sometimes I think nothing will come of it. But then in the future I'll be writing a song and I'm like, there's something missing, or I'm completely uninspired uh, on this verse. And then I'll go back through that catalog and lo and behold, that thing that I thought was never going to be of use to me fits perfectly like a puzzle piece. So that's always really, really cool. It's one of my favorite phenomenons.
so now you have this forthcoming EP that's entitled More Than I Am. And that's gonna be you have a scheduled release date for that. I know it's coming out this year sometime, right?
Yeah, so we're releasing it single by single.
Mhm.
So Rock Bottom is a part of that EP, and then the next song is Alleyways, and that'll be out January 25th. So coming up really
Oh,
soon.
okay. Okay, well,
Yeah,
we'll make sure we play that one too.
yeah, yeah. I'm really excited about
How
that.
many songs do you have in the EP that you're looking at?
Just three,
Oh, just three. And then what is the third one?
more than I am.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's
So,
the title.
oh, okay. Oh, okay. We're excited. So now you have another remix that you released in September, November, I believe. It's called NVM.
Yeah, never
Yeah.
mind. Yeah.
Oh, that's what does that stand for?
Never mind. So it's kind of like an abbreviation.
Oh, okay. All right. Wow. Now I know you also collaborated with a I guess they're an agency called I'm not sure how to pronounce this, UUin.
Yeah. We've been collaborating for a really long time, basically since I was a kid.
Uh-huh.
But the creator decided to make a creative collective company, And so we're kind of like helping each other grow in a sense.
Wow, that's beautiful. Okay, well, it looks like we have so much to look forward to coming up in the next few weeks and the release of the EP. And I know you also did some covers, which is just amazing. Like Bring Me the Horizon Down. Yeah, that was beautiful. And you have
Thank
this
you.
amazing voice. It's almost like takes you in a different place. I mean, for me, I'm like, you could play it really loud and it accentuates the room.
Thank you. Thank you.
So so and I know you have a website, faithmariej.com, and then you're all over your Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as well, and of course your YouTube channel. And
Yeah.
if people want to find your music, what would be the best place to find that?
Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Tidal, pretty much anywhere that you consume music, I'm there.
Do you do other kind of art besides music when you have or is it music is your primary art form?
Music is definitely my primary art form. I like to draw, and I used to create a lot of videos, not as much anymore, but I loved doing videos. That was something that I did a lot with friends growing up, and created, music videos that will never see the light of day.
Oh,
And yeah, so
are you thinking of releasing those videos in the future? If you haven't?
probably not. There's a couple that I'm like, maybe I can remaster those and kind of
Yeah.
make them cool, but probably not. I mean, there's just so many amazingly creative people that I'm working with or want to work with that I'm like, that's my focus, that's my priority in terms of like visual art.
Who are the people that you would like to work with in the future if you had to pick some people you want to work with? Do you have anybody in mind that someday you want this kind of thing? You wish list?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I have a really big wish list. I think my main one that I think would be amazing is Bring Me the Horizon, since they did bring me a lot of their song brought me some recognition, and I really appreciate what they've done for the rock or heavier scene. I think that they've kind of crossed some barriers uh, that a lot of artists may have been too scared to cross, and that's been very inspiring for me. And so I would love to create something with them someday.
Wow. Well, congratulations on the forthcoming EP. We're looking forward to it. More Than I Am, which will be released sometime in 2023. And of course, Rock Bottom, which is that's the latest single you have, and then you have another one coming out in the later January, right? Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and so much to look forward to. Anything else that you're looking that's coming up in the future?
Oh,
Uh,
so many
yeah,
things.
I know you're probably planning the next album.
Yeah, there's quite a few songs that are going to be coming out this year. Some crazy ones. I'm really excited.
Yeah, we're looking for, and big shout out to Shameless Promotion PR again. Shauna always brings in like these amazing clients. But thank you so much, and the music is just keeps like keep it coming. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And yes, thank you, Shauna.
Yes, and of course faithmariej.com for more information, and of course you're on Instagram faithmarie.j. If people wanna, right, that's how to find you.
Yeah, yeah. There I'm on all social media, so I'm mostly active on Instagram. That's
Oh, okay, yeah,
my
yeah.
biggest one.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay, well, congratulations, and I'm looking forward to playing this in the interview. And let me just turn off the recording. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, one moment.